So today I want to talk about the time I went to a psychic and it literally blew my mind.
Shamanoaks, exploring the rabbit hole.
So I was dating this girl at the time. We'd been dating for about 5 months and it was kind of rocky. We kind of were going back and forth. And I felt kind of lost in my life. So one Saturday I thought, well, what the hell, I'll go see a psychic, just kind of for fun. I don't take it really seriously, but I am curious. So a lot of people don't believe in psychics, but I'm like, okay, maybe I do, maybe I don't. Let me see it for myself. I went to this little place near me called the Psychic Eye Bookstore. When I went and sat down, she was just in a small little room. She had a table and a stack of tarot cards. She said, if you want to ask about somebody, don't tell me, just write their name on a piece of paper and hand it to me. So I did. I wrote down my girlfriend's name at the time, folded it in half and handed it to her. She didn't read it. When she dealt out the cards, she said, it looks like you have a lot of fun together, but this isn't going to last. And that right there was like, okay, why would a psychic, psychics, I was always told psychics tell you what you want to hear. Does anybody want to hear, hey, your relationship's going to end? I don't think I did. I was trying really hard at the time to make it work. I hadn't told her anything. I literally just walked in, wrote her name down on a piece of paper and handed it to her. Then she looked at the cards some more and she said, you're going to meet 2 other girls and the second girl is going to be your soulmate. And I was like, what? But she goes, don't freak out. That doesn't mean you're going to be together forever. It just means you've been together in a past life. She goes, if you ever meet a soulmate, it just immediately clicks. It just falls into place. You don't have to try. It just all happens very easily. So I was like, okay, well, tell me about these different girls that are coming up. And she goes, the first girl you're going to meet is doing really well in her job and it's going to feel right, but it's not going to work. And then I was like, okay, tell me more about this soulmate. And she goes, okay, well, she's earthy, but not a hippie. And she's currently going through a breakup. And I was like, okay, cool. So after the psychic, I still didn't take her word 100%. I still went back to my girlfriend and I tried really hard to make it work. I tried to surprise her on her anniversary, found out she was actually spending the night at another guy's house. It's like, this is a sucky feeling. But whatever. Not meant to be, so I tried to let it go, but it destroyed me for probably a few weeks. For the first few days, I couldn't eat. It was bad. It wasn't something I was hoping to happen, something that just kind of happened, and I dealt with it. So now the interesting stuff begins. So out of the blue, this girl messaged me that I grew up with. She messaged me that she had moved out to LA, and she told me what she was doing with her life and whatnot, and we should get a drink sometime and catch up. Our first date, we met up at a bar and we had a drink. At the time, I only had 2 tattoos, but she had a half sleeve and a lot of other tattoos. And I felt very kind of inadequate at the time because I was like, man, this girl has more tattoos than me. She's so much cooler than me. Not that tattoos make you cool, but that's the way I felt at the time. The first thing we started talking about on the date was tattoos. And she was telling me about her tattoo and how this lady on her shoulder represented different people in her family and whatnot. And it was just very personal. And I was like, oh, I wish I had something like that. And since I grew up with her, she knew that I was related to Johnny Appleseed. My grandfather on my dad's side figured it out long ago, and that was always my show and tell for years. So people all around my school knew me as the Johnny Appleseed kid or Alan Appleseed. It was a thing that everybody knew about. So while we're on this date, talking about tattoos, she goes, you should get a Johnny Appleseed tattoo. And I was like, I really like the idea of that, but I have no idea what that would look like. So the date progressed. We had similar interests. We talked about how we both had recently seen psychics, but we both didn't want to tell each other what the psychic had told us. And we went on a couple other dates, and then all of a sudden she just dropped. It just not really ghosted me, but you could just tell when someone just loses interest, it just kind of falls apart. And so she texted me one day saying, I'm sorry, I feel I should be honest with you, but my ex came back into my life and we're going to try to make it work. And I was like, is this what the psychic said? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, interesting. Anyways, I was like, okay, try not to be too heartbroken. We only got on a couple dates, so I wasn't too invested in it. And I knew my next girl that I was going to find was going to be a soulmate. So why not be kind of excited about that? So I got on OkCupid, and one day it just said I had a match. And it was this girl that, I don't know, it sounds cheesy, but I was like, she looks familiar. There's something special about her. There's something different about her. And so, I accepted it and we started exchanging conversation back and forth. She found out my last name was Chapman. And she goes, don't mean to weird you out. This is a really weird question, but are you by any chance related to Johnny Appleseed? I was like, yeah, why? And she goes, I grew up in the town that he's buried in. The Johnny Appleseed Festival every year. It's my favorite thing. I have a Johnny Appleseed tattoo on my back. I was like, what the fuck? Like, how, what? Like, what are the odds of that? Like, people that believe in coincidences, what are the goddamn odds of that? That one, a psychic would tell me these things would happen. Two, someone would say, you should get a Johnny Appleseed tattoo. And then you find someone with a Johnny Appleseed tattoo that lives in the place where he lived, where he's dead and buried, and they have a festival every year, and it's her favorite thing. Like, I think, like, I was just like, nah, no way. And she goes, don't be weirded out by this, but can I bring you a gift? Hadn't gone on a date yet, hadn't done anything. I was like, sure. So we go on our first date, and she gives me these little Johnny Appleseed stamps. Whenever she comes over to my house for the first time, she sees this poster that I've had in my apartment for probably a year at the time. And she goes, no way, like my friend just gave me this poster. And it was just all these little coincidences just kept piling up. And I kept thinking to myself, is this a soulmate? Like it felt really comfortable very quickly. Anyways, we did end up breaking up. We're not together, but that shit was crazy. Like, I don't see how that happened. What do you guys think of psychics? Have you ever been to a psychic that's like blown your mind? I told other people about her, the one psychic that I went to, and other people went to her, and they really got like nothing out of it. So I don't know if it was just the luck of the day, luck of the draw. Maybe it was just a random coincidence that all these things lined up. Coincidences can happen, but saying someone you should get a Johnny Appleseed tattoo and then meeting someone from Johnny Appleseed town with a Johnny Appleseed tattoo, I don't know. To me, I thought that was really crazy. And I have a lot of that stuff happen in my life. I try to write it down. I recently went and saw a medium lately. Went and saw a medium for the first time. And it could or could not be changing my life. I don't know, too soon to tell. But this channel is about going down the rabbit hole, and I'm currently going down a rabbit hole. So we'll see where it takes me. And yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm enjoying it. So I guess I'll talk to you guys next week. Have a good weekend. Have a good night. Have a good life.